Good morning, UPB. OptionMillionaires.com. Thursday, February 13th, 2014. Not February 14th. That'd be Valentine's Day. That will be tomorrow. So a heads up. Go out to the store now before the flowers start to wilt and die, and you get a chocolate smeared box of the last, caramels that they have there at the grocery store, the drug store. ESI is a trade idea I brought up the other day at OptionMillionaires.com. Said I would hit a support here. Beautiful support. Charts sometimes really have a great story to tell, and I thought this support line here would act as a springboard for higher prices. And sure enough, we got a move to the upside of over 8%. I alerted $30 calls. The stock was at 28 and change, something like that, and really just burst the upside. So I'm right so far. With this trade, I think it's going to ultimately make a move up here to 35 level and then the 37.50 level. ESI. So we like to do that at OptionMillionaires.com. Trades that nobody else thinks about. It might not be a trade that you want to get in via options. You can go long the stock, long or short the stock. Let's bring up some stocks here that I really like here. BTH, another kind of double bottom stock here, almost like ESI, with massive short interest. Actually, if you look at the short interest for some of the most heavily traded stocks out there, BTH and ESI are the most heavily shorted stocks really in the marketplace. And BTH, it would take, let me just pull this up. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. BTH, here we go. BTH will take, if we can get this up, there we go, 39 days to cover the 5.466 million shares. The average share volume is 139,000. 40 days almost. That's wild. That's pretty crazy. And then you look, some of the retail stocks are like 5, which is 5 below. It would take over almost 9 days. You see short interest has increased substantially. Big lots. Same kind of thing here as we're seeing short interest grow. Tesla, actually, the short interest kind of shrunk a little bit. Still 29 million shares, some 35% of the float. So just something to keep in mind. I love, and if you look at big lots, actually fell almost 4% today. I love this stock for a move back over 30. I love 5 for a move back over 40, which I think is going to happen if we can get the chart to pop up on the screen. There we go. I think it's going to make a quick move over 40. I like, again, BTH, I think is going to make a move over $10. Let's move to some other big board stocks. Boeing. I like Boeing here on the pullback. Boeing has rallied, significantly pulled back. I think the recent sell-off here is this is a bull flag here. You can look from the start of February. Pulled back in a beautiful fashion like we did just a little bit ago. I'm looking for a move over 130 by the end of this week. I love the 128 and 129 and 130 calls. McDonald's, same thing. We have Burger King reporting earnings this morning before the bell, and I like McDonald's for a move back over, if the chart will come up. There we go. Back over to the $96 level, to the $97 level. In the short term, I think we're going to see a sharp spike higher. That's why I alerted the $95 calls. I love them here. So let's move into some other. How about VXX? I brought this up last week. I did the watch list on Thursday, talked about the $49 monthly puts at $1. Those are up to 7 plus, 700% gain, as we've seen a tremendous pullback, as I pretty much said was going to happen, and it did. And if you actually go to the blog at OptionMillionaires.com, you'll see what I was talking about. At the start of the year, we had the Heisenberg indicator pointing towards a pullback right here. This is when the Heisenberg indicator said, all right, we're going to get a pullback to start 2014. We did. We got a massive pullback. And then at the same time at OptionMillionaires.com, we saw the everybody who was bullish here suddenly at the lows, guess what? They got bearish. So we knew we were going to get a bounce here, and that's what we've got. So now we're kind of ambivalent because the people who were bearish here starting to get bullish. And those who were bullish here starting to get a little bit like, hey, we're not going to go up every single day, although we have in the past. Look at this action. But we're getting futures pulling back here. I don't know. I still think we're going to get a move to new all-time highs here. And that would make sense, maybe a consolidation to put a cup and handle formation in before we make new all-time highs. And I think we're just so close. It's just, we could be putting in a lower high, which would imply a breakthrough of this support line, and then ultimately move down to 160. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. I don't. I think short term, we're going to break out to new all-time highs. And it's not going to be from bullish data. It's just going to be because it is. So to me, if I look at the chart here of the S&P 500, right now futures are getting mauled. The futures are down almost 0.5%. So if you pulled it up, we'd be about down here. Guess what? When the market opens tomorrow, I bet you we're up here. Because to me, this looks like a flag that's forming, consolidation, and we're going to blast higher from it. So it's going to be another one of those Lucy and Charlie Brown scenarios where the Bears have that football that they're ready to kick. Here it is. Here's the football. We're going to fall. And then all of a sudden Lucy pulls the football out and stocks rally. So it's not going to be shown here in this chart, the action that we see here overnight, with futures are getting pretty much destroyed, which is what 0.5% of downside is these days. Used to be destroyed was, 2, 3, 4%. I think the futures are going to rally overnight, and we're going to open at least flat, and then we're going to head higher. Nobody else is calling that. Just like nobody else was telling you to buy stocks here. Everybody's like, oh, here it is. And now you see it around. It's like everybody's talking about this 1929 correlation. Like, here it is, the Great Depression. I'm telling you, look at the charts. Look at the formation. Compare it. Come on. I mean, you can go back to 1929, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Was quantitative easing there? We're in a time frame where there's no comparison. There's none. Central banks were not manipulating currencies like they are these days. And they're not buying bonds. And it's an entirely different environment. So it's no comparison. There's none. There's none. So how about the bond market? Actually, speaking about it, fell today with stocks. And you can look at bonds here. Look at this pattern. If you look from a short-term perspective, this looks like a left head, a head, a left shoulder, right shoulder. It looks like we're going to head back down to support here, and I think ultimately going to break through it. What would higher interest rates and a little bit of a sell-off in bonds equate to? Higher stock prices. So it's all leading to higher stock prices for me. I'm looking for a move up heading into week's end. I love Boeing. I love BTH. I love some of the retailers. We have retail sales reported for January tomorrow. It's this morning, so it's going to me, pointing higher. It's funny because when we were at February 5th and February 4th, we're in the chat room, and I wrote a post at optionmillionaires.com talking about stock market and saying that we're going to see a bounce down here. And somebody said, oh, you sure you still feel confident? I said, yeah. And look, here we are. So do I feel confident here? We're down here right now with the way the futures are pointing. And I think when I awake tomorrow, we're going to be here. We're just going to be even because that's what's happened. All right. It's UPB here, optionmillionaires.com. We do have earnings season still in full force. We had Cisco tonight. We had last night. We had Zillow. So it's going to be interesting to see where those head. So it's going to be a lot of buying the dip possibly via out-of-the-money options, via puts or calls. All right. UPB, I'll see you in the chat room at optionmillionaires.com. Thanks for tuning in. And let's see if we see the continuation of the rally that we've seen the last couple days that has really defied everyone. Big stuff. That's your at optionmillionaires.com. Goodbye.